U.S. inflation surges again in June, raising risks for economy. The government's consumer price index soared 9.1% over the past year, the biggest yearly increase since 1981, with nearly half of the increase due to higher energy costs. Wildfires scorch parts of Europe amid extreme heat wave. Biden delivers tough talk on Iran as he opens Mideast visit. The only thing worse than the Iran that exists now is an Iran with nuclear weapons, Biden said. Asked about using military force against Iran, Biden said, if that was the last resort, yes. U.S. ally Israel considers Iran to be its greatest enemy, citing its nuclear program, its calls for Israel's destruction and its support for hostile militant groups across the region. Stocks end lower as Wall Street braces for big hike in rates. Markets took a few U-turns through the morning, as has become the norm on Wall Street this tumultuous year. They were following the lead of Treasury yields in the bond market, which initially surged on expectations that Federal Reserve policymakers will hike interest rates drastically to slow the nation's skyrocketing inflation. Ex-staffer convicted in biggest theft of secret info in CIA history. Joshua Schulte, who chose to defend himself at a New York City retrial, had told jurors in closing arguments that the CIA and FBI made him a scapegoat for an embarrassing public release of a trove of CIA secrets by WikiLeaks in 2017. Can Pakistan become the next tech manufacturing hub? Expert team investigates deadly mystery illness in Tanzania. Israel's regional ties. Iran in focus as Biden starts Middle East tour. U.S. President Joe Biden vows to deepen Israel's integration into the Middle East, while Israeli Prime Minister Yair Lapid says the U.S. and Israel will hold talks on renewing a global coalition against Iran. PKK continuing its fundraising, recruitment in Europe. Europol report U.S. inflation surges again in June, raising risks for economy. PKK terrorists are also involved in organized crime activities such as money laundering, racketeering, extortion, drug trafficking, says the report. UN chief hails encouraging progress at Ukraine grain talks. Shameful outcry as Maldives accepts fleeing Sri Lankan leader. Sri Lanka Prime Minister asks Speaker to nominate new PM. Rishi Sunak tops first round of voting for new UK Conservative Party leader. US willing to kill Iran deal to keep IRGC on terror list, Biden says. Ukraine cuts North Korea ties over recognition of separatist regions. Moroccan probe finds 23 Melilla border dead likely suffocated. Joe Biden arrives in Middle East on first trip as US president. EU says Russian rail transport to Kaliningrad not banned. Biden to clarify his pragmatic Middle East policy, in analysis by Marwan Bashara. He says United States President Joe Biden's visit to the Middle East this week is the culmination of an urgent need and a growing desire. The need is for the U.S. to convince its partners in the region to fully support its position on Russia's war in Ukraine, and meet the West's growing energy needs, by addressing their security concerns. Euro drops below $1 for first time since 2002. The euro has fallen below the symbolic level of $1 for the first time since December 2002, weighed down by the darkening economic outlook for the single currency area and a possibility of a complete stoppage in Russian gas supplies. Implementation of Kala Ainur Master Plan urged. AI calls for probe into UK war crimes in Afghanistan. Bajhas residents want government to create job opportunities. Sri Lankan president, spouse flee to the Maldives. Woman killed in Nimroz traffic accident. Thousands of tourists throng Bamiyan to enjoy Eid holidays. Afghan boxer wins WBC medal in Germany. Putin to meet Iranian, Turkish leaders in Tehran next week. 41 injured in traffic accidents during Eid holidays in Nangarhar. UK Special Forces repeatedly killed Afghan detainees, BBC finds. 2 contenders forced out of Tory leadership race. Google and Microsoft retrench as recession looms. DPR ready for execution of foreign fighters, official says. Poland to make World War II demand to Germany. US explains how Russian oil price cap would work. Riots erupt as president flees country. US sees highest inflation in over 40 years. Ukrainian lobby group sues Canada over Russia sanctions waiver. North Korea recognizes Donbass republics. Results of grain talks in Istanbul revealed.